morning, guys, and welcome to episode 94 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Beckson. Today, we're going to be talking to Becky Clower, owner for Blue Water Properties in Guanacaste. We've had her on the podcast before, but I like just basically Becky's no BS attitude. She just goes straight to the point, not sugarcoating it. So we're going to get her real opinion on kind of what's really happening in the market at the moment. And also where she still sees value in the market, what she'd be investing in at the moment. But anyway, I thought I'd give you an update of some of the stuff that I've been on. I just got back from the southern Ojachao area. I have a piece of land that I bought with some investors down there that I'm also developing. My San Gerardo de Ota project up in the mountains there at 9,500 feet. Just an incredible, unique area. If anybody has not been there of Costa Rica, just, sat above kind of the Matapalo, Dominicao area, about an hour and a half up there into the hills. It's just a stunning area, very clean, and the only place that you can actually fly fishing in Costa Rica for trout, which is very interesting. But we're going to be doing a glamping project there. I've kind of changed the changed the direction we were going. We were going to be going with A-frames, but unfortunately I hit a bit of a roadblock with some water up there, as one does. I think I'd mentioned to quite a few of you is that I'd like to teach people to learn from my mistakes. But anyway, I do have water up there. That, and then also just working to get some to put together an investment fund here to go and invest in Aranao. A lot of the demand there and a lot of the data is pointing me in that direction. So building some kind of vacation rentals with hotel amenities up there. So anyone that's interested, feel free to reach out. info@investingcostarica.com. But anyway, enough from me. Let's get straight into the podcast with Becky. Good morning, Becky. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very, very good. I appreciate you taking time out of, I know, a very busy day to come and join us on the podcast today.
Anytime. I love being on your podcast. So
awesome. Well, we love having you. And I know that everyone that listens enjoys hearing from you. So, but I mean, I'm starting to see signs. I mean, I think globally, we're starting to see signs of a bit of a slowdown. Interest rates are increasing. Stock markets are kind of pulling back. If you had Bitcoin, some people, you've definitely seen a reduction in your value of your Bitcoin. But I mean, have you seen a bit of a slowdown in the real estate market in Costa Rica, and particularly like the Guanacaste area, you were seeing a bit of a slowdown?
Yeah, I mean, I have never, I've been obviously here since 2006, and I've seen so many people over the years. I've obviously been here during the good times and the bad times.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of talk, obviously, of us going back into bad times. But here, the difference is that we have a lot of higher end buyers. So we have the high end buyer. What I've noticed, though, is that since the interest rates are creeping up in North America, it does affect us, maybe not right away and not maybe 100%. And I always feel that there's a little bit of a delay, That delay might be a few months, but what my first indicator is when there's a delay is that we start having price reductions. And I've seen a bunch of price reductions lately, especially on higher end property. So what I'm seeing more so is that property is still the sweet spot that I call, that's anywhere, really from 50,000 to 500,000, depending on what you're looking for, is still active. Whereas everything that seems to be, 500 to $1 million or more seems to be slow now. I've seen a lot of price adjustments. So, it's that for me is an indication that things are slowing down some, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, we still have limited inventory and we still have a lot of demand. So, it's a difficult situation because sometimes we don't have exactly what our client is looking for. And so that also creates a problem in and of itself. So
yeah, no, definitely. And I think we'll start to see probably more product come in the market in the next coming, like maybe towards the end of the year as some of these, construction projects finish.
Yes.
But I mean, I think it's Costa Rica, everybody's always very, I suppose, amused that Costa Rica has no financing or mortgages out there, and it's just cash buyers that come down here. So it's a different market.
I'm not sure if I sent you information or if you've heard about the BCT product. That's a relatively new product that they offer. Yep. I have yet to see one of my clients actually take advantage of it. The main issue is, I'm sure in Costa Rica, is everything takes so long. So even if you could get approved for a loan, if it's going to take 3, 4, 5, or 6 months, most sellers aren't going to be interested in that. That's why cash is king here. So even if you're able to get the BCT loan, which requires at minimum 35% down, the interest rates are at 7.5%, which before maybe wasn't that attractive to foreign buyers. But as the interest rates creep up, it might be an alternative for someone. Again, we still go back to the fact that we don't know how long it's going to take. I need to talk to someone who's actually gone through the process and gotten to the finish line.
Yeah.
Because I would be interested to know that. But, you know, in this country, cash is still king. We do have some options with owner financing for sure. And you mentioned the new construction. I actually have three new construction projects that are going up. And historically, all of my new constructions have gone under contract before they have been finished.
Wow.
So yeah, and the nice thing too is that all the funds are held in escrow, so everybody's protected. It's not like your
Yeah.
typical construction situation. But yeah, everything that's pre-construction is going because again, there's just not a lot of inventory. And I think a lot of people too don't necessarily want to tackle building. And we also, at least in Guanacaste, there's some areas that are plagued with water issues in terms of, you know, not being able to get a water letter. And if you don't have a
Yep.
water letter, you can't get a meter and you can't get a permit. So
Yep. Yeah, I mean, what types of properties are you seeing that are still selling strong though?
oh, I'm seeing land for sure, ocean view land, but we just don't have a whole heck of a lot of,
Yep.
we don't have too much left of ocean view land. Also, people are buying land that is walking distance to the beach. When I say walking distance, you know, I might say 1 or 2 kilometers at the most,
Yep.
where people, you know, can still kind of walk to activities, et cetera. Because if, you know, and I also see people that are buying in the mountains that are okay with going farther back because you get more bang for your buck, or going south or north of the more touristy areas along the coast to get more for their money. So I've
Yeah.
seen, you know, a lot of that kind of, I call it like getting out of the city, you know, sort of.
Yep.
We don't really have a city, but
I
you know,
know. I
people,
mean, it's nice to have it there, right? I mean, if you want to go and use it, you can, but if you're not in the hustle and bustle of it. And I mean, sometimes going further back is the climate changes and you get a little bit of a breeze as the higher up you get as well.
that's correct. And I also joke and say, you know, the second that you're on a dirt road, there's still some upside potential. I used to
Yep.
always say that, but I truly believe in it. So, you know, once you're off paved roads, you might have missed a boat already, depending on what it is. But there's still some areas that are relatively close to some of these really, you know, touristy areas. I know I've talked about, you know, Pirates Bay and north of Potrero and, you know, south of Tamarindo and all of those areas that are still dirt roads like Avellanas and Quillal. You can still get some good deals in those areas.
Well, I mean, you sent me some stuff that you guys had in Pirates Bay the other day, and I went down and take a look at it. And I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, you're literally a couple of 100 meters from the ocean and very, very affordable lots. I think what's the price that they start at? Around about $40,000.
Yep, they start at 39,000 up to 70,000, and it's basically it's a gated community within a gated community. So they're going to
Yeah.
have their own gated access. We're actually getting ready to pave the roads in there. They have all proper drainage. It's going to be fully fenced around, gated access. They're going to have a community pool with a barbecue area and a park for children. And you know, the nice thing is that the if you want more space, because they are smaller lots, they're, you know, anywhere from 300 to 600 meters, you can buy a couple of the lots and obviously
Yep.
build a bigger house. So a couple people, we already have 2 lots under contract, and I'm getting another 2 offers coming in this weekend. So we're excited about that. And I think they're going to sell quickly because of the price point.
Yep.
And simply because you can walk 10-minute walk to, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful beaches in the country. That's great for snorkeling. And, you know, but yet you're still close to Conchal, you're close to Playa Minas. You know, if you want to drive to Tamarindo, if you want to drive to Playa Grande, if you want to drive to Flamingo, those are all within a 15 to 20-minute, 25-minute drive. So it's still totally possible to be amongst nature and yet still close, somewhat close to amenities.
I mean, I think that's a great way to summarize that area because it really is caught between Tamarindo and kind of Conchao, you know, which are two very busy areas, and Grande is just around the corner as well. Matapalo is right there for, you know, your local kind of supermarket. If you want to, you can go to, you know, Automercado. But that beach is phenomenal. I mean, it really is beautiful.
It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm a little biased because I lived down that road for 5 years, and I built one of the first homes down that road
Yeah.
a while back, and I loved it. I loved it.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, where do you think that the opportunity lies in the coming years in investing in your area?
I mean, basically the areas that we kind of talked about, you know, I feel that obviously there's always going to be a market for ocean view land and land that's close to the beach. Surfside's booming right now. You know, the whole Potrero area is booming because you can get more for your money over there. So that's, you know, for already built product, and also land that have water letters. And also areas south, I've actually seen a lot of activity in Avellanas, Lagarto, Junquilla, Playa Negra, and those areas. I feel like those areas, because they're not as developed, again, you still have upside potential over there as well. And then north of us, Coco Hermosa, Ocotal, Playa Panama, the whole Papagayo region is booming. As you know, we just opened an office there not too long ago, and you know, we've got several listings up there, both budget and high-end homes. So it's an opportunity to definitely get more for your money and go to different areas to invest. And obviously the positive of that whole area is that you're anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes on average from the airport, from Liberia International Airport. So it's very convenient for those who, you know, especially if you travel a lot and you're living here, it's convenient. You're super close to everything, and you're close to Liberia too. So.
Well, and I mean, it has solid rental rates and occupancy as well. I know that because, again, have a property up there, and I mean, it's great. I mean, it does really well.
No, and that's, you know, a lot of people say, where would you buy? And the funny thing is, I actually own property in several different parts of Costa Rica. So I'm not going to pretend and say Guanacaste is the only place where you can make $1, because I would be lying. There's several different areas where you can make money. There's definitely many areas still where you have upside potential. And a lot of people say, oh, Costa Rica is expensive. It is, relatively speaking, but we get such good money. For example, on the Airbnb topic, I just bought a condo myself, and, you know, put a little bit of elbow grease into it. And basically I'll be renting that out nightly. And it's that type of investment that does really well here, because we have such an influx of visitors. And so the Airbnb market is always going to be a hot market. And so that for sure is a great place to, you know, park your money. And not only that, but you can visit your property if you know, a few weeks or months out of the year, and then rent it the rest of the time and put some money in your pocket.
Yeah. I mean, what type of returns, because people are always, you know, looking at, you know, returns, how much return they're going to get on their money. I mean, what kind of returns do you think that you'll get on your condo there in Flamingo?
I think I'm going to make about 10%, which I think is very respectable.
But you're managing it yourself though, as well, right?
No, believe it or not. Okay. I actually sold my property management company last year. So I have it with my old property management company, and people say, well, why aren't you going to manage it yourself? And it's like, no.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and I'm trying to simplify my life. And even then, I still think I'm going to make 10% because the price point is lower. What a lot of people don't realize is, you know, I wouldn't be able, that's the reason we don't really long-term rent the beach, because what could I possibly ask for an ocean view 1-bedroom condo? A couple thousand a month, maybe 1,800, 2,000. But I can easily rent it for 150, 175 a night in high season, and it will be full. It will be full. Just because of the location. It's directly across the street from the marina, and you can see the water, and you can walk to a semi-private beach. And so that kind of thing, you know, I think is a great investment, as well as higher end properties that house larger groups, much like what you have. You know, I've seen big return on investment on those types of properties because you don't have that much competition. When you start getting up above 4 bedrooms, your competition really drops. And obviously when you're traveling with a big group, those people tend to have a higher budget. Therefore, you know, it's all relative. You can ask a higher per night on your property. But I would say on average for return on investment, again, there are some properties you can definitely make 10% or more, but the average, what I've seen, at least from my 15 years experience in doing property management, was more like around 4 to 6%, which maybe doesn't sound that great, but you have to take into consideration that most of the owners will come down for several weeks a year. You know, that's after you pay absolutely everything. And so, you know, can you really put a price tag on that? I mean, and not to mention the appreciation of the property.
Well, you should put a value on that trip, because again, if you're spending $10,000 a year for a vacation, now put that on top of your returns as well. Now your 4 to 6% has probably jumped to 7 to 9. So, you know, it's you can't just look at it, the return you're getting, it's what you're not expending as well now, because you have a place to go on vacation.
Exactly. Yeah. You got a free vacation out of it, a good investment. Not a half bad place to go. Exactly.
It's not bad. I mean, maybe you've just answered this, Becky, but I mean, you know, in Guanacaste, if you were looking to invest over 10 years, you'd mentioned some stuff about, you know, the opportunity maybe in areas where the roads are not as developed, where it's kind of dirt roads. I mean, what areas would you be looking at?
Well, the areas of dirt roads, Well,
Yeah,
and then I'm also talking
anywhere
about
with dirt roads then, right?
anywhere with dirt roads. So no, I mean, well, believe it or not, there's not that many places with dirt roads, meaning like at least the main roads leading into
Yep.
town. So again, the only real places like that are Puerto Viejo de Conchal, south end of
Yep.
Conchal, Valle de los Piratas, Playa Minas, okay?
Yep.
And then as you go south, dirt roads start basically at Playa Avellanas, Negra, Junquillal. Basically, Junquillal now has a paved road that goes up at least towards Paraíso.
Yep.
So not far from the pavement. So basically like all those areas there, and then you can even start going further south, Marbella, Playa Azul, like all those areas there, which are really beautiful as well.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get a lot of bang for your buck. And again, we talked about how we have properties in different parts. I'm looking to buy also a lot near Arnall, which I think is also a great area of
I
investment.
agree.
Now, again, with Arnall, I'm buying it understanding that I'm happy to build a small property, rent it out, and just cover my costs.
Yep.
I truly believe and I know that you're not going to get the return on investment, for example, at the volcano that you would or at the lake, I should say, that you would at the beach. Because we
Yep.
definitely, my property here is going to blow that property out of the water in terms of return on investment. But again, it's all relative. It's also a different lifestyle. But it is a great part of the country. And I think if you build your client base right, you could do really well over there as well.
Well, I mean, one thing that's always been a bit of over the past couple of years, it's been difficult for people is to find long-term rentals. Are you seeing more long-term rentals coming on the market now, or it's still that there's just not that many?
There's not that many. We have a huge demand. We have a lot of families coming down, especially from North America. And so it's been really difficult. And even from Europe, in South Americans, we have people coming from all over the world. There's a serious shortage for long-term rentals, especially at the beach.
Yep.
And so what people have started to do is go inland a little bit, even if it's, 5, 10, 15 minutes, and they get, again, more bang for your buck. They're still really close to everything. And, there's just more options. Listen, there's such a shortage right now of long-term rentals that I've had some clients that simply just bought a house, even though it wasn't their initial goal. They said, well, we would rent for a year, but then they realized, well, there's really not anything.
Nothing. Yeah.
No, and honestly, people say, well, where can I look for long-term rentals? There's not one centralized place we can look for long-term rentals. And the reality of it is, even where I live in the gated community I live in, there's definitely a handful of long-term rentals, but these people have been here for a year or two or going on their third year. So they keep renewing. The best time to look, at least in our area, because a lot of families are renting, I would say is really around April or May, because most of those people are here for an entire school year and they've signed a 1-year lease from June till June or July till July. So that's really when you need to start saying, okay, well, when should I start looking? That's when I would suggest to start looking, because you'll know those people always have first right of refusal generally.
Yep.
And then even in that case, some people have had their rentals turn into real estate for sale, and that's also put them in a predicament. So yeah, it's a little tricky right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's tricky everywhere. I mean, it's just, at the beaches, there's just so much demand and just not enough supply. I mean, here in the city, of course, there's always a lot of supply, but yeah, at the beaches, it's difficult.
It's difficult at the beach. Well, mainly because most of us, including myself, I have 2 properties that I could long-term rent, but I choose not to.
Well, I mean, financially, financially,
it doesn't make any sense. No one's going to pay me, like we just said. Why would I rent out my 1-bedroom condo for $1,800 a month if I can short-term rent it and bring in $3,000 a year or a month, excuse me. So it just doesn't make, sense in that.
I think the only way that you would do it would be is if you didn't want a property management company, you just wanted to simplify. Like, look, here's the keys. I'm going to be back in a year. You can long-term rent it, but you need to take care of the place.
Oh yeah. If I didn't have a property management company, I would do long-term.
Yeah.
It is a lot easier. It is a lot easier. I will say that. Your profits are greater. If you don't have to deal with the day-to-day though, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been talking a lot recently to a lot of people about businesses that are missing in certain markets. The reason being is we've had this influx of people come in, but with that, all these ancillary services, such as storage, dry cleaning, these things. I mean, what are some of these services that you think are missing in the area? Because I think a lot of people that are looking to relocate want to start a business and work as well. So, I mean, what stuff would you think that they should be focusing on?
Storage for sure. We actually have a shortage of storage. Yeah, actually we have, was, we're building and we have all our furniture that's already arrived in country in 2 bodegas, 2 storage units. There's
Yep.
nothing left, at least in the Mar Vista. I know for a fact that also at one down the road, they're totally sold out. And yet
Yeah.
people still keep coming here. So we definitely need that. In terms of, well, we don't need dry cleaning because it's the beach. I don't think too many people are doing dry cleaning. Oh gosh, I also joked that it would be phenomenal to have a drive-through car wash.
That would be cool. That would be
Right?
cool.
I think it'd probably be expensive too.
What about the kids, Becky? Because again, a lot of people are moving there with families. I mean, what stuff do you think that the children are missing?
Well, in Guanacaste, we actually obviously have beautiful weather. We have over 300 days of sunshine a year, but when it does rain, it rains, and it would be nice to have more indoor activities for that.
Yep.
So, I joke, but not really. It would be wonderful to have a jump park in some city things here. Dare I say like Chuck E. Cheese or something, but
Yeah,
I
get what you mean. I get what you mean.
When I go to San Jose, my kids love that stuff. They love Chuck E. Cheese. They love the jump parks. Obviously we have a plethora of outdoor activities here. We don't need help where that's concerned. But when it's raining, it would be nice. I mean, we do have, we do have movie theaters now, and we have, indoor restaurants as well, because not everything, many things are open air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have those options.
I think that's great, because again, a lot of people that are moving there are looking to start a business. And I mean, there is, as they say in here in Costa Rica, hay plata en el calle. There's money in the street. You just need to pick it up.
No, I'm telling you, a jump park, some sort of like recreation center, indoor center would be amazing. Wow. Truly. And it would stick. It would stick with the locals. It would stick with the foreigners. I really, truly believe that.
Yeah. Well, my last question for you that I love to ask everyone, but I think I may already know the answer. But if you inherited $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in, Becky?
I think I'd buy another condo at the marina.
There you go. That was easy.
No, but seriously, either land or, a condo that you could just go right into that maybe is already in a rental pool where you already have rental income on the books. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. The land is great because there's not a whole lot left, and you can always land bank and not have to necessarily build right away and let the land appreciate over time. So those would be, my top 2. Obviously, everybody has different needs, but I'm just speaking for myself personally. So.
No, I think it's a question I always like to ask, because everyone's perspective is different and viewpoint. And I think that, that's what people have been said that listen to the podcast. It's like, it's just great to get all these perspectives.
Yeah.
So
I'd invest in the kids park, in the jump park.
That's a great idea. I mean, it really is. Well, Becky, thank you very much again for that shot. My kids would as well. They often ask to go to it's Chuck E. Cheese and jump park as well. I think we have the same kids.
Exactly. We do.
Well, anyway, Becky, I'll let you get on with your day. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me on the podcast. And anyone who wants to contact Becky, I'll put all of her contact details in the description. And have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Becky.
It's a pleasure. Take care. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed that podcast there with Becky. It's always good to get an update from her and also her perspective on areas, that are going to see development. I think she makes a great point, which is paved roads. If anywhere that you can find property at the moment that does not have a paved road to it, there could be huge potential. That being said, they've been talking about paving roads in this country for years. And as I always say, until it actually happens, don't believe it. But I mean, it will happen. It's incredible that the road to Hacienda and the Pinilla hasn't been paved with the amount of money that's gone into that place. But every year they talk about paving that, and then on to Avellanas and also into Negra. I mean, they've got as far as the 27 de Abril, the 27th of April down there. So, it's a matter of time. But again, who knows how much time that's going to take. Remember, guys, if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do info@investing Costa Rica. That's info@investing Costa Rica. As I said, I've got 15 minutes for everyone. Hope you have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you on the next podcast.